let's call the meeting of the Charter Review Committee together. Is he right there? All right. Mr. Bryan will be here as soon as he's able. Okay, very good. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. Ms. Bacchus.
Present.
Mr. Bryant. Here. Mr. France. Here. Mr. Fouché. Here. Mr. Gaines.
Here.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Palmer. Mr. Pearson. Here. Mr. Powell. Ms. Robinson. Here. Ms. Wilhelmy.
Yes, ma'am, here.
Madam Chair, all are present.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have 3 speakers scheduled for up to 3 minutes each. Mr. Hassan, would you please come to the podium? Team, I'm going to tell you that I've got my phone on airplane mode to enforce the time limits today because of the lengthy agenda.
Madam Chair.
Sir.
Madam Chair, I just want to ask before we get ready to get started, if there's possible, considering the information that we're getting ready to review today, the ability to allow more public speakers to be able to come forth and speak, considering that this draft document didn't actually hit the city's website until Monday. So the public really didn't actually have a full opportunity, if they wanted to speak regarding this document, to be able to sign up in time to be able to do that.
I think, excuse me. It is up to this body. How does the body feel about this? All right, how many? All right, we do have a lot to do. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Gaines, go ahead and make a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion, Madam Chair, that we allow more than the actual prescribed speakers to be able to come forth and speak regarding this procedure today.
How many?
You said how many? I mean, can we ask the public to see how many that want to actually speak?
We can ask, but we may not be able to accommodate that. How many would like to come speak today? Would you please raise your hands? We have 3 scheduled ones. So another 1, 2? Yes, ma'am. 3. Okay, put it in your motion then.
So I would like to make the motion, Madam Chair, that we allow 3 additional speakers in addition to the already scheduled public speakers that we have to come before and speak.
I second.
Okay, who is the second?
Palmer.
Mr. Palmer, okay, very good. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to ask Augusta tomorrow if they have anything to offer.
They didn't raise their hand.
You'd like to speak?
Point of order, I don't think that's appropriate.
Mr. Gaines, did you want to make that 4 speakers then, or keep it at 3?
Well, just to be fair across the board, we can make it 4 speakers.
All right. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Sir?
can we put a time limit
3 minutes?
even for the additional speakers?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Bacchus?
I just want a point of clarity. I think in the past, when additional speakers have been added on during the meeting, it didn't require a vote to make that happen.
I'm documenting it for the meeting today. That's why I think we should put it in the form of a motion. It's not the chair making this, it's the body making this.
But it then depends upon a vote, whereas in the past, it has not.
Attorney McLean recommends we do this by acclamation. All in favor of hearing the additional speakers? I think we've got 4. Is that reasonable, folks? Thank you. We will do so. All right, Mr. Hassan, please begin.
Good morning. Ben Hassan, 3529 Monte Carlo Drive. First thing, my comments, I'm going to try to keep it in 3 minutes here, is the outside counsel. I think you're talking about the outside counsel in this document 4-12 or 12. That is an expensive proposition in terms of putting on this government when we are scrambling for money in the future. Just that the first present contract that the current outside counsel had was for 50 to 60 hours a week at $200 an hour, as well as the paralegal would make $100 an hour. And if you take that as just doing the 50 hours a week, we're talking about $480,000 a year. And if you went to the 60,000, you're talking about $720,000 a week. In addition to talking about establishing a law department. I think that is an egregious abuse of the taxpayers' money. And I think the way you put it into the document, it is mandatory. Historically, when you had outside counsel, they would vote on that every year. And the commission could vote that person out and go ahead and continue to do business and everything. But now you put in the document that they cannot get around an outside counselor. You're burdening them with millions of dollars of debt unnecessarily with this outside counsel. That's one. The draft document. In the media, and I don't know whether it's true or not, that the intention today is to vote on the draft document. I think all of you all as a professionals in your own right, and I truly understand that you all know that you don't vote on a draft document that you all have not discussed, have an opportunity that after you discuss, come to the conclusions, make amendments, make adjustments, and then the original document come at you at a later time to make sure it reflects what the draft, what you all voted on when you were discussing the draft document. That would not be today. If you do, you're doing the community a disservice. Also with that, one of the biggest cry, as they was talking about giving the mayor a vote, what they was talking about, it was everything was rushed, where you all are putting us back in the same environment. Also, the mayor choosing those persons, when he said putting out 3 people, the mayor has, with that vote, made him a part of the legislative process as well. So if you want him to choose those 3, you should remove his vote in particular. He should not be able to bring those 3 before the body and vote on them at the same time. That's abuse of power as well. The administrator, as you all know, I've mentioned publicly, I think you need to put in the document, the administrator should have some years of being a county manager. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your time. Any questions? Thank you.
You are next.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Gayla Kesey, contrary to what's in the agenda. I am co-president of the League of Women Voters of the CSRA. The League's Observer Corps has followed this committee's work basically from the beginning. We've repeatedly called attention to issues with process, procedures, transparency, and accountability. In addition, we have submitted written comments, public input, resources, recommendations related to the review, which are available as public record on the Charter Review website. But once again, we're here to call attention to these same issues. The committee held 3 public hearings and invited the community to provide input with the understanding that those concerns would be considered when writing the final charter. However, the document titled Complete Draft, February 27th, does not reference or reflect the concerns raised by the public during those hearings. The document is also posted on the website, as Mr. Hassan said, after the opportunity to sign up to speak today. Several members of this committee have submitted motions that take into account that public input and the concerns raised during those hearings. But based on how those motions appear on today's agenda, it is unclear whether they will be considered or how they will be considered before any vote on the draft itself. Today's agenda proposes moving into Committee of the Whole to consider the charter draft. Because the motions responding to public input appear after that step on the agenda, moving forward in that order could allow the committee to send this charter to the legislative delegation without considering those motions. If that happens, the concerns raised by the public during the hearings would remain unaddressed. At the same time, as the committee reviews the complete draft, members should go through the document with a fine-tooth comb and confirm that the wording accurately reflects what the committee actually voted on over the past year. Otherwise, we run into the possibility of rubber stamping. This is the first time you've had an actual time to actually see this document as a whole. So, I strongly urge you, like Mr. Hassan did, this should not go today. By transmitting this document to the
10
legislature—
seconds.
Thank you very much. Give me another 10 seconds. There appears to be a perceived deadline to move this document quickly. But if you want the vote to be taken in November and to be passed, you need to consider the public,
Thank you, Dr.
not
Kesey.
the legislature.
Thank you, Dr. Kesey. Mr. Hudson, your podium.
Madam Chair,
Sir?
with all fairness to the community, would you notify them when they have a minute remaining?
I did.
You
1
did?
minute and 30 seconds and
Thank
then
you.
10 seconds.
All right.
Mr. Hudson.
Good morning, friends. Let me thank you for the time and effort you have applied to this. I know something about it. I served for 13 years on the committee that worked to prepare and adopt the consolidated government. We started when we were appointed in 1982 by the Chamber of Commerce Citizens Committee. Let me mention some of the names, and not all of them are still with us. Representative Charles Walker, Representative Brown, Councilwoman Armstrong, Councilman A.K. Hassan, Commissioner Henry Brigham, Commissioner Henry Howard, Attorney Ben Allen, and Payne College attorney at that time, Jim Hinton. From the business side, there were Don Grantham, lumber company owner, Bill Konsky, contractor, Jack Widener, the head of Georgia Power in this area, Randy Barnett, who ran J.B. White department store, Oral Barton, who ran a concrete company, two lawyers, Bob Daniel, who was the county attorney, and myself. The first plan we put together was in 1987. And it was approved when we went to Washington and met with the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. But the local legislature wouldn't pass it. It did not have a referendum yet. So the next year, 1988, the proposed charter was passed by 57% of the voters, but it didn't pass by the county voters and the city voters. So at that time, it required the passage of both. So that was down. So the next year, 1989, it did pass by both bodies of voters by a majority vote, and it was passed by the General Assembly. But this one, when we went to the Justice Department in Washington, was rejected by the Justice Department. That's why we still had the Voters' Rights Act, and they had to be approved by a federal court or by the Justice Department. So we had a new we had a new redistricting, and it passed by the General Assembly, and this time, because of the redistricting, it passed by the Justice Department. In that charter, we were putting the final language together. Somebody said, well, what are we going to do about the lawyers? And I think it was Charles Walker said, we ought to put something in there that allows a law department to give minority lawyers an equal chance to get consideration to work for the government.
Mr. Hudson, is it possible in your schedule that when we get to this, there's a motion referring to this later today, if you could stay long enough to answer questions, or if anybody has any questions at the moment, we could do this. But I have to equally enforce the speaker's 3-minute limit.
I think I can give you 10 seconds.
Okay.
So Charles Walker suggested, we know we're going to have an outside private attorney. Let's put in a provision that can be a law department and give other people an opportunity to get to be a lawyer for the county. We did not intend there to be a bar on outside counsel. We thought there would be outside counsel, and this was a provision to give other people an opportunity to serve.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your
That's
courtesy.
very valuable information. All right. We are through with the scheduled speakers. Who would like to speak next? I think we can take up to 4. So 3 minutes, and I'll try to give you a 1 minute, 30-second, 10-second by hand signal rather than interrupt you.
Good morning, everyone. For the record, my name is Zakiyia Mabberry, spelled Zakiyia, M-A, B as in Bravo, E-R-R-Y. First, I will be remiss if I did not say some of us in this room are used to the rules changing once you're in the middle of a game, and it seems like that's happening here, and it's not appreciated at all. I didn't have many prepared remarks, but wise counsel have told me that when you have the opportunity to speak, let your voice be heard. So I'm going to piggyback on some of the things that I said at previous town hall meetings. My recommendation about having a formal mechanics within the charter to ensure meaningful public input is documented, that you're tracking what the public has said through these town hall meetings. If we don't do that, to me, it's performative. It's check the box. So I'm going to ask the question again on the record for the last time having the opportunity to do so. Are we tracking what the public has said, identifying themes, and in addition to that, what I haven't said before is on your list where you have that, put was it adopted into the charter that was a final, partially adopted, or not adopted, and also put the rationale why or why not. Because if we're going to have this, and it's going to be a meaningful document up until 2033, I believe, it won't be revisited, it actually needs to be meaningful, not just, and I know that you've all done hard work, been away from your families and things of that such, but it needs to also help the community. So that's what we should be here thinking about, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Zakiyia. Okay, who is up next?
Good morning, Charter Review Committee. How you guys doing? Happy Thursday. My name is Ranique West, President, co-founder of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. I stand in opposition to the proposed removal of the protective class for the Augusta City Charter. First, it's important to clarify a critical legal distinction. An executive order is not law. Executive orders represent administrative policy that can change from one administration to the next. However, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is federal law, enacted by Congress, fully inseparable today. Under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, discrimination is employment, public administrative based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin is unlawful. These protections apply to state and local governments, including Augusta-Richmond County. Removing protected class language from our charter does not remove the federal obligations. What it does is create a misalignment between local governance language and binding federal civil rights law. Second, Augusta has conducted its own disparity study, which provides clear empirical evidence that disparities still exist. The study found significant disparities affecting minority, women-owned businesses, even after accounting for race-neutral factors like experience and firm capacity. Testimony from local businesses confirming barriers to contracting and economic opportunity. A strong factual predict supporting continued race and gender-conscious considerations alongside race-neutral programs. Most importantly, Augusta's latest disparity study shows underutilization in most categories, meaning the conditions necessary to remove protected class provisions have not yet been met. These findings are not opinions. They come directly from Augusta's own procurement data and community engagement process. Removing protected class language while disparities remain documented will undermine the very analytical framework the city commissioned to guide responsible policymaking. It is also important to be clear about something else. Recognized protected class does not mandate preferential treatment. Civil rights protections exist to ensure fairness, transparency, and equal opportunity in public administration. Maintaining protected class in the city charter serves three important purposes. First, legal consistency along Augusta's governance with existing federal civil rights law. Second, administrative accountability, allowing city to properly measure outcomes and demonstrate non-discrimination. Third, responsible governance, giving Augusta the tools to address disparities identified through its own data. Removing these protections will not eliminate federal law and will not eliminate disparities. It will only reduce cities' ability to measure them and respond responsibly. Studies show when measures are not tracked and removed, numbers continue to move in a downward direction. Thank you for your time and consideration today, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. No questions in the queue. Who is the next speaker?
Ready to go? Okay, well, my name is Rob Wynn. I'm a board member of Augusta Tomorrow, also a business owner in downtown Augusta with an office on Broad Street. I live over at Forest Hills neighborhood, 3028 Lake Forest Drive. It's okay. So really, what I want to tell you is thank you, okay? I have followed this process from the beginning. I know what it must feel like where you are, given all the hard work you put in, because I've come to maybe 4 or 5 meetings, and those felt very long, and I've listened to several others on YouTube. I went to a subcommittee meeting up there in one of the rooms upstairs, and of course, I attended the town hall over at Warren Road Community Center. I just want to say, really and truly, this is a ton of hard work. I really appreciate the transparency. Our ability as citizens to watch all these proceedings online, live, has been really amazing, okay? To recenter the conversation, the whole point of this is to make our government work better for everybody. And really, if you talk to anybody behind closed doors, okay, there's any debate about whether we have dysfunctional government. Everybody knows that we do. And we've hired consultants here, the Carl Vinson folks, and they can confirm that for us without any debate, all right? And the principal change here, moving from the form of government we have now to a county manager form of government, it's impossible to overstate how important that is to our community. Okay, it may be the most important thing this community accomplishes in 50 years, to take our government from what it has been, which is, for somebody who's been fighting for downtown Broad Street for a long time, it's very frustrating, okay, to something more functional would really, really change our community in a very positive way and make the next 50 years much better for the city of Augusta. So really, thank you so much for all the hard work you've done. It is so important that we get this thing over the finish line, and we really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, were there any other speakers that wish to speak? We've got one slot for one more. I thought there was one, but maybe not. Okay. Then we will move on. Very good. All right, we need to have a motion to approve the minutes from the February 19th meeting. Ms. Bonner sent them out 2 days ago? Yesterday, was it yesterday, Angela? Mm-hmm. Okay, and Lena's passing them down, is that it? Okay. So Lena, do we have copies of the minutes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we could put it on the screen.
All righty, that'd be great. Thank you. You were pithy, Rob. Well, I'm just trying to be excruciatingly fair to everybody. There. Doesn't matter anymore other than.
Madam Chair,
Right.
could you let us know when the committee
All
is
right.
ready to move to the next page?
Okay, does anybody have any changes or recommendations, or does this next page, please? Next page, please. Next page, please. Is there another page? All right, thank you, ma'am. Is that the whole page, or do we have to scroll up a little? I see. Okay, well, hang on just a second then until everybody's had a chance. Next page. Ms. Robinson, Dr. Robinson?
I just want to clarify for the public that, if you can, that this is the minutes from the last meeting, because I think people are trying to read it. And you can't really see it out there on those boards. So just, provide that clarity. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes as presented?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adopt the minutes as is written here.
Is there a second?
Second.
And that's Mr. France and Mr. Gaines. All right. Any discussion? If not, let's please cast our votes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Pearson? Yes. It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, let us move into unfinished business. Dr. Robinson, can I call on you to make your motion?
So as of today, I was not aware of when I received any adopted revised language to review until I was just informed by Madam Chairwoman that it's in the draft charter. So I have not had a chance to review that information.
So, Carl Vinson, can we ask you to please put the language that we discussed last meeting to bring forward? It was in a nice little memo that we had. I didn't bring it.
I would like to table the ethics section until next meeting so that we have the opportunity. Well, I make a motion that we table the ethics language until our next meeting so that we have an opportunity to review the document and have a better clarity of what that language will be.
I second.
If it came up last meeting, is that even appropriate? Let's just come back here and
If
we asked for 2 weeks to study what was presented.
But we didn't get it.
Madam Chair, you have a motion on the floor.
All right, we have a motion and by
Ms. Buckus.
okay. During discussion, I'm going to defer to Carl Vinson first.
So,
There's other comments in
To
the queue.
table.
Please defer.
So prior to the 17th, we had two issues for clarification on ethics. And that was to delete 2 paragraphs based on the guidance from legal counsel. And you'd have to look at the minutes, but my understanding was that we had guidance to remove those paragraphs. And so those are included, that removal is included in the section on ethics in the document that was sent out. Oh, they didn't vote on ethics?
No.
Oh, they only voted on audits. Then that section then was not voted on, but is included in that charter document.
And that's fine, but I didn't learn that until, an hour ago? So I'm not prepared to make a motion to amend that language when I haven't even had an opportunity to review it. No, we can't, because it has to be noticed that way.
Motion to table this on the floor, duly seconded by, motion made by Dr. Robinson, seconded by Ms. Backus. It requires a vote. All right, let us go ahead and cast our votes.
I'm actually still in the queue.
All right, okay.
So I just wanted to respond to what you had said a couple minutes ago about can we table it because it was already tabled. This exact same subject for numerous meetings last fall was tabled from one agenda to the next, to the next, to the next. I don't think it's appropriate when we get to this end of the process to begin changing rules, and we need to stick with what we have been practicing this whole time.
That'll come back. All right, please cast your votes to table then.
Madam Chair,
No.
Mr. Pearson,
No.
motion fails.
Okay.
5-6.
So may I ask the Carl Vinson team to please pull what was brought to the last meeting to put it on the screen so that everybody in the room can see it. And Mr. Fouché has it right here, if that helps. Okay.
I have a point of order. If I can please ask the parliamentarian, in those other meetings that I mentioned last year where it continued to be tabled, I want to say for about 5 different meetings, it didn't require a vote. And I'm confused as to why it does now. It actually appeared on our agenda for numerous meetings, and it continued to just be pushed back to the next meeting, to the next meeting, to the next meeting, and it did not require a vote at that time at all for it to be pushed to the next meeting, considering we haven't had the opportunity, that there was nobody who authorized for this verbiage to be added to the final charter because it was not voted on. So I don't see how we can move forward with discussing something that we're not informed on.
I'm not familiar of the specifics regarding the previous. Perhaps you all did it by acclamation or without objection. I'm not certain. However, in that you've already voted on this issue, you're certainly able to put forth a motion to reconsider the vote.
Yeah.
Dr. Facer, you want to walk us through this? This had to do with, I recall there being a kind of a dust-up because we assumed the attorneys were all in alignment on this. That's what triggered this. And then
Yeah, we sent this back to council, and the advice from council was that these 3 provisions under provision G and then provision H1 and H2 should be, the advice from council was that they should be stricken from the charter document because of some conflict with state law.
Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, would you please take a look at the minutes we just approved and see if there is any reference to this on there?
We did. I noticed the motion.
Not so far. On ethics, on this? Now, let me enumerate what's on here. No, I'm just saying. Item 3 was to adopt language suggested for section 140.
Okay, that does not apply to ethics. That's
The next one was technical, new business, eminent domain.
Okay, not applicable.
Madam Clerk, if I can just let you know, it'll be towards the end of the
Go to
agenda.
the chair, please. Madam Clerk?
For 3. Okay. The number 2 was rules of procedures, ordinance form 3, ordinance form procedure 4, signing or authenticating record codification printing. 5 was organizational meetings. 6, consolidated government manager appointment qualifications compensation. 7 was meeting participation. 8 was eligibility. 10, audits, nonpartisan. 11, compensation. 12, powers and duties. Number 13 was audit section. 14, audits.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Dr. Robinson?
As I stated in the last meeting, my issue with the ethics section was I presented a document to the attorneys that they were then supposed to wordsmith and produce the materials. And we ended up voting on a document that included materials that were prohibitive by state law, and our duly hired consultants didn't catch that. So the request at the last meeting was to go back and look at this again and provide language that could then be amended. I wasn't aware that language was even available until this meeting started. I will not be putting a motion on the floor to accept the language that I have yet to review. So if somebody else wants to do it, be my guest. I won't, because this is not the body of work I presented. This is not the expectation I expected from people. I have paid $500,000, and I will not be a party to this foolishness. So y'all proceed however you wish. I will not be making a motion for this to be accepted.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Ms. Pulliam, too. Ms. Backos, Mr. Fouché is first in the queue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a copy printed of the draft Article 5 ethics that we can put on the screen. If it's the desire of this body to review it right now, we have the language printed right here in front of us.
Okay, hold on one second. If we're able to put that on the screen, that would be helpful to look at that. And it seems to me, Dr. Facer, that there was an email that went out that did capture that language.
Yes, there was an email that went out that captured that language.
Madam Chair, if I could, please. You notably, I had to leave the meeting early at the last meeting. However, Ms. McFarley just stated to me that Mr. Plunkett and yourself stated that they would put this on the next agenda. There was not a vote on ethics.
Okay. All right. So the chair is going to acknowledge Mr. Pearson next because he's not had an opportunity to speak. Or, is it Mr. Gaines? Oh, and maybe his coach. Thank you. All right, so now we'll go to Ms. Backus.
I was going to point out that there was no vote even at the last meeting to table it until this one. But the concern that Dr. Robinson had brought up at that time is when you are taking out sections of a document that is meant to flow together, when you take those sections out, you don't know whether or not everything is still covered and whether or not it still flows. So I don't understand why the rules are changing for this meeting versus every other meeting that we've had, but I think that that is a violation of due process for all of us in this case.
Thank you. All right. What's that? Okay. Coach Brandt.
I would just like to remind the committee of decorum. Please be recognized by the chair before addressing other members or legal or Ms. Bonner. I think it's only fair to be recognized by the chair before comments are made. to those people. Thank you.
May I ask, does Carl Vinson have a clean piece of paper that describes what language changed that they could share with the body? No, that's all. It's just that we're going to hear from him first. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Pacer.
So the draft charter document that you received did not have those 3 paragraphs included in it.
Okay.
So you would have to, we would have to pull back up the memo that we sent out with Attorney Plunkett's guidance, like that.
All right. Let us call a recess.
And I will note, Madam Chair, that we originally brought this issue up to council. It came back. Then when reviewing it, we brought it back to council again because we had concerns. But we each time we have sought counsel on the legality of issues because we are not in the position of providing legal guidance to the commission or to the committee.
Thank you. We have a limit of 2 speakers per motion, so I'm going to go to Coach Bryant.
Madam Chair, I would like to ask for a 10-minute recess if we could.
Point of order, please.
Yes, ma'am?
At which point in time did we vote to limit speakers?
We haven't voted. That is Robert's Rules of Order, and I can defer to Mr. Lewis if he'd like to speak on it. Or Ms. Orr.
Well, I was in the queue. I was waiting for you to speak on this issue.
Okay.
First, I was reprimanded by our coach to make sure we talked to the chair first.
Thank you.
But y'all had a conversation, you, Gaines and Coach. The clerk just submitted that nothing was voted on. So I think we should adhere to the clerk and allow Ms. Dr. Robinson and all of us to review the document.
I agree.
Before we making the vote on anything.
I agree. I share that thought. Okay, so we have Mr. Lewis, may I call upon you to discuss the standard for 2 speakers per motion, a person speaking twice per motion?
The motion is, when the person speaks, it's only 3 minutes. And after that, the person can rebuttal for 2. I mean, that's just in the rules of parliamentary procedures, but we haven't got to that point yet.
Okay. All right, Coach, well, we're back to Ms. Backus again, but we've had a request to go into recess. Madam, we will defer to Ms. Backus. Go ahead.
I have a question for Carl Vinson Institute. I was just wondering, you said that those paragraphs were removed and are not in the charter. Who authorized you to remove that if it wasn't voted on yet?
I would say that was likely my error.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's why when we sent the document, we asked you to review it to make sure that we did not miss anything. You'll note that we sent out some guidance noting that the document that you received was crafted, one, based on the set of language that you had adopted. And if there was anything that we missed, and this would be one of those, that we would like you to bring it back to us so that we could correct that.
I think my concern stems from, this is just one example, but I did speak with the chair Friday after your 3-hour meeting with her, and she indicated that some of our motions will no longer be necessary because of changes that were made, including my motion for general counsel. She
That
said
was
that
your misunderstanding, Angela, I'm sorry.
it's in text message too, so. But that's part of my concern is if the body has voted on specific verbiage, and I did
That
actually.
verbiage is included. We went back, carefully and methodically to make sure that we caught that. This last one, I will take ownership for.
Okay.
So can we clarify that not every word in the draft charter was something that was voted on by this committee, that there was drafting involved and expected, as is the normal practice and best practice?
Yes, we looked at two issues. One, there were instances where you adopted and guided us very specifically to put in specific language. There were other instances where you adopted it with an intent to accomplish a provision, and we made every effort to capture that intent. And again, that's why we sent the document to you for you to review and to thoughtfully consider.
Okay. Vice Chairman Bryant.
Yes, I would like to ask for a 10-minute recess, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
All right. Can we also request that we get Ms. McLean and the CVIOG team to join us back here a moment during the recess?
You need to carry your motion, Madam Chair.
Sorry, ma'am?
Carry your motion. It needs a second and it needs to be.
All right.
I make a motion that we have a 10-minute recess.
All right, there's a second.
Second.
Mr. France wants to talk, but we'll come back to it. Yes. Thank you, hon. Mr. France, before we vote on this, would you like to make your comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Reference back to Carl Vinson as our subject matter expert, referencing the email he sent out. And I think, if I remember correctly, everyone was addressed on that email stating there's some changes that's been made. Respond back if you have questions or concerns. So if the email was sent from Carl Vinson stating that, and everyone received it, I know some people said the email's been jacked up lately, but if everyone received it and did not respond back to Carl Vinson appropriately, I don't understand why we're saying at this point we didn't get an opportunity to respond.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is your comment second to that? Because we need to vote on the.
I think any discussion has to be with the motion to recess.
Has to be germane to the issue. His comments were not germane to the issue.
All right.
Well, he was allowed to speak.
Then Dr. Robinson.
As with every other language we have received to date, when it was very specific, we were sent the specific language. We weren't sent a 40-page document and then told to figure it out. We were sent the very specific language so that we could address that issue and move on. Have zero issue with addressing that issue and moving on. But as what's been happening, suddenly we get to the end and now we want to change the rules and say, oh, well, it was there. I was not told it was there because we never voted on it to be in there. So if anything, the draft document should have included the original that we voted on. It shouldn't have included the removal of the 3 paragraphs because that was never voted on.
Vice Chairman?
Madam Chair, again, the motion is to recess. It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion now has to be on the recess. Even I respect what Dr. Robinson is saying and Mr. France is saying, but those are not relative to the motion before us. And so at this time, again, I'd like to call for the question on the recess, if I could.
Very good. Do we need to vote on that motion? Yes. Cast your votes, please.
Yes, we're going to recess.
Oh, recess.
Madam Chair,
I agree. Yes.
Mr. Pearson,
Yes.
that motion carries 8 to 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm sorry, 10. With Ms. Robinson voting no, Ms. Backus voting yes, Ms. Wilhelmy voting yes, Mr. Gaines voting yes, Mr. Bryant yes, Mr. Lewis yes, Mr. Powell yes, Mr. France yes, Mr. Palmer yes, Mr. Fouché yes, Mr. Pearson yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We are recessed for 10 minutes, and if I can ask Attorney McLean and the CVIOG team to join us back here. All right, everybody, please take your seats. Is everybody here? Wonderful. All right, after a brief recess in meeting and receiving advice, I think it's become apparent that we're going to need another meeting. Can we, by acclamation, call for a meeting for next Thursday, March 12th? What does the body feel like? Well, all right, how many, and let's just straw vote. Please, yes, absolutely, thank you. All please check your calendars.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Remember our discussion, I'll be out of town next week.
Oh, boy, okay. When will a meeting be possible? 19th is a Thursday, so that sounds like we have 2 members out.
I'll be out.
You won't be here, Stephanie?
Yeah, I won't be here.
All right, how does tomorrow afternoon look?
What time tomorrow afternoon?
I would think it would be 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever works for the body.
Definitely won't for me. I came back
Yeah,
to
you came back
make
from
this
Greenville.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And does it have to be on the, does it have to be on a Thursday?
No,
Yeah.
it does not.
Yeah.
Please, everybody check your calendars. Let's get a date.
Which date are we asking about? Tomorrow, Madam Chair?
I'm out of order.
Now, Clint says the 12th was a Thursday.
None of next week works for me.
Okay. Next week entirely?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't want to say the reason why, but I'm not going to be here locally.
That's not necessary.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Backus.
if I can ask for a point of clarity, I believe Attorney McLean already made a ruling on that, and that we would have to abide by our bylaws as to our regularly scheduled meetings, and that we don't have the ability to change those.
Wasn't calling that. It was an acclamation thing. Go ahead, Ms. McLean.
Yes, my apology. That I did recall that because the language in our governing document says shall meet, correct? Am I correct in that?
Yes, ma'am.
We definitely are going to meet on the 19th regardless because we'd have to approve minutes and so forth. This was an additional meeting to take up all these notices.
But if I can just continue, I believe, if I remember correctly, and it may be incorrect. I think in that same ruling that you made clear that a special called meeting can only address a singular issue.
I believe it also says you can put a motion through and vote on other things.
Yeah, 1.05, okay.
110 says other
Yeah.
meetings of the commission committee shall meet.
Yeah.
It's kind of notified such meetings.
So 1.01.05 says that the committee may hold such additional meetings as shall be deemed necessary when called by the chairperson or majority of the members of the CRC, provided all members shall have been notified at least 24 hours in advance of the special meeting. So if you wish to have a special meeting for the purpose of discussing this draft charter, it would be permissible under the rules of procedure. However, if you can get a consensus to have the noticed amendments addressed at that time, you can also put the noticed amendments on that, because as it stands now, the noticed amendments are to be heard at your next regularly scheduled meeting. So I think that that would be a way to handle this, should you wish to have another meeting.
And I'm hearing this again, and everybody's going to chime in and say, we can't make it. I know there are legitimate reasons why that's going to be the case.
Just want to see if we would have a quorum.
Let's have a roll call on, hang on one second.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe Attorney Plunkett also made a ruling on that issue over the weekend, and he said it would be appropriate after the March 19th meeting that you could call a special called meeting to vote on the final document. But when calling a special called meeting, it is supposed to be for a singular purpose, and the charter is our whole purpose. I don't think that it would qualify as a singular purpose to discuss our entire charter.
And it is the opinion of the chair and vice chair that we need a called meeting to further discuss these, so that we can, on the 19th, be done, go ahead and do stuff. So we'd like to have another meeting. When can people make it, please? All right, we got calendars. Let's see who's next. Ms. Backus has spoken twice. Dr. Robinson. Or she was there a minute ago.
Not an active motion.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Robinson.
If the documentation that is requested can be provided as it has been in separate documents prior to the 19th meeting, I see no reason why we can't go ahead and have that information ready and available so that at the 19th meeting we can vote on it. I don't see why we need to have a special called meeting to discuss it ahead of time when as long as the information is provided, we will have time to review. That way the 19th can go pretty smoothly.
Madam Chair, I have a question. Just need a little clarity. Is all of this about that one motion? Are we going to go through with the other motions today?
They have to be noticed, and because they were thrown on at the last minute, anything involving the words amend and rescind requires special notice.
If it was previously adopted, Madam Chair.
If it was previously adopted.
Procedure.
We're thinking, just.
Was previously adopted.
It was.
To the body, Attorney McLean is quite right. The two things that we could take up would be the ethics issue, and that is strictly around removing language.
It was. Ethics was previously adopted.
Ethics language, but the part that you wanted to move to this meeting was a strike-through. And it was sent out to everybody by email, and
It's still the amendment, though. It's still being amended.
well, except it was a requested strike-through.
Okay, so what I'm hearing Dr. Robinson state is that the language that she proposed was adopted by the committee, am I correct? But the way it was presented in the draft charter was not what the committee adopted. Is that what you're saying? Okay, correct me. Madam Chair, she wishes to speak, Dr. Robinson.
All right, Dr. Robinson.
The language was adopted previous, but the attorneys got together and decided some of the language had to be struck through. I didn't request anything. The attorneys said that, oh, here's language that we have issues with because of state law. So these things have to be adjusted. Because the language that we got back was what was produced by the Carl Vinson Institute, I had issue with that because we only adopted that language based on what we were told. But now we were being told, oh, wait, these things have to come out. So this is still an amendment. It has, I mean, it was noticed. I don't know if the last meeting would count as the notice. So technically, could we have taken it today? We could have if we had had the language ahead of time, yes.
Okay, so what should actually be in your charter are those matters that were adopted by the committee.
Correct.
If a change was made, that change was not adopted by the committee, so it's not official. Only this committee can amend the language that has been presented in the charter.
Right.
So it's not an official act of this body.
Well, they went ahead and amended it and put it into the draft.
Again, no one has the power to amend this, what's in this charter, but this committee. And after it's out of the hands of this committee, then the legislature or the Augusta commissioners can present, recommended changes. But right now, you have this document, so you are empowered to make the necessary changes to the charter, if you understand that.
I do. The piece that came with the ethics was the language wasn't given, and then the language that was put into the complete charter wasn't voted on. So that's why I said this needs to go into the 19th as well.
Okay. We'll take Mr. France.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is my point that I want to make, and I guess there's a question as well. If the language was taken out by Carl Vinson because it's state law, that it cannot be in there. So I'm trying to understand, what are we saying we want to replace that language then with something else? Or we just want to, are we objecting to the language being taken out and we did not go back and vote on it with the language out? Is that what I'm hearing? Well, let's make sure I'm understanding what we're trying to do here, because if it's state law and the attorneys, the law professionals got together and said, this language cannot be in here, and they took that language out, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing?
So let me add clarity.
Let's be clear about what
yes,
we're doing.
Mr. France, let me add clarity. As an attorney, my job is to advise, okay? And I think there have been several matters where I've sat and I've mentioned that something is against the law and you all have not included it, and then you voted on it and it became a part of the charter. That is essentially what I'm saying, is though even though the attorney has said this is against the law and has made the change, you all should set your eyes on it and agree by voting it. It becomes official once it's adopted by the committee. I don't think you would want your attorney to make changes to your contract without you being knowledgeable of that and signing off. As your attorney, I cannot do that. You have to have knowledge.
Mr. Fouché.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I think Dr. Robinson has outlined what has occurred here perfectly. The attorneys were involved in language with Carl Vinson Institute and decided that several sections of the proposed ethics language were not legal, so they were struck. And on February 27th, Carl Vinson Institute emailed this document, this completed draft document to us. We've all had the opportunity to review it. There's a motion on the agenda for today to adopt that language.
We'll go to Dr. Robinson.
There's this thing called procedure that has to be followed, regardless of how we feel things should go. When we're running our prospective nonprofits and our businesses at home, we can kind of do what we want in a lot of those cases because the only people who may even have a question about it are the people we work with. But when it's called following procedure, you have to follow procedure. And once you set a precedent for a certain procedure, you should continue to follow that procedure. Because to deviate from that precedent now looks like, for the lack of a better term, malfeasance. So at the end of the day, the opportunity to follow procedure is all that is being requested. When it comes to the rest of the motions that are on this agenda, that revolves around how notice is given. And when we all signed up to be a part of this, we said we were following Robert's Rules of Order. So we can't choose when we follow Robert's Rules of Order. This isn't the Bible where you can choose what applies when it wants to apply. Robert's Rules of Order is very clear, and that is what the intent is here to do, is follow procedure. Just because everybody wants to, folks want to rush and do things, doesn't mean you just decide to throw procedure to the wind. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible to the people of Augusta, the citizens that we claim to represent. If we are not doing what is right by the people, then we are not doing our jobs. Why are we here? We said we'd follow procedure. Follow procedure. It's that simple.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm also going to quote Robert's Rules of Order that a member may not speak more than twice on any given motion. Is that not correct, Mr. Lewis?
Point of order, please.
We don't, but...
Point of order, please. There is no active motion, and it's a point of order. I'm allowed to speak it out loud.
Thank you. I'm just point of information myself going back that way. Just FYI, that's where we're going to be following that going forward. All right, so back to the question. Were you done? I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
Well, no, I actually have been sitting in the queue for a while. You've been skipping past me.
It's because Robert's Rules of Order also recommends that you acknowledge people that have not had a previous opportunity to speak, and so I'm following Robert's Rules of Order, which I hear is what we should be following. Are you done or no?
No, I wanted to give a point of clarity, especially for the public. Our chair made a comment that we submitted these motions at the last minute. We did not. Two of my motions were actually submitted the very next day after our last meeting.
Of 5, yes.
Which was the first opportunity that we had after our first town hall. And when we asked for the motion, and it was passed for the town halls, it was to get feedback from all of you and to make any necessary changes as need be. I immediately the next day sent out those motions. So this was not a last minute thing, and we're following procedure. This is not an attempt to slow down the process. In fact, our town halls were delayed because we did first agree on them back on December 18th in order to do those, but they were delayed by 2 months. And that is up to our chair to schedule those. We don't have the ability to do that. I just want to clarify for the public so that the public has accurate information.
Okay, we're going to withdraw motion 4A to go into committee of the whole, if that's the correct number. Mr. France, would you like to cover your motion about transparency language?
Madam Chair, can we get some order from the audience as well? Because it just simply disruptive to the process.
Agreed. Duly noted.
Yeah. Glad you're here, but just don't be disruptive. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Brandon. Mr. Lance had requested to be put on the agenda to go ahead and cover this transparency piece that he would like to have added to the ethics document. It's been put on the website, but I believe he asked for that privilege. Mr. France.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I raised this question again based on And I want to comment the young lady that spoke earlier this morning about not considering the concerns of the citizens. I attended all 5 of the town halls that were called. And believe me, I was listening. Great pastor that I truly admire and respect said one time, you know, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, that we should do more listening than we do talking. So based on the last meeting I attended that was being moderated by one of our great parishioners, he made a statement about accountability of government officials. And he talked about transparency, excuse me, my tongue tied, and accountability. And the reason the city of Augusta is in the position it's in now is because it has not been accountability. There has not had transparency. There has not been checks and balances on things that's been done. That's the reason we come up with, and this was his words, $21 million shortfalls, $6 million missing from housing development, and so on and so on and so on. And if you notice, if you look back at time, how things repeat themselves. We had a repeat yourself moment now. If we don't do something, life will have a tendency to repeat themselves. So, Madam Chair, I'm offering this motion this morning. Some of this language that I'm bringing forth, I'm going to have the clerk read it in a minute. Some of it has already been covered and captured in ethics. But I'm requesting this motion that's not, the transparency piece that's not covered and not captured, that it be amended, and that language also added as part of transparency. Madam Clerk, if I get you to read, please, for the audience. Copy.
Yes, sir. Why is it important to have transparency in elected officials? Transparency in elected officials is essential to foster public trust, ensure accountability, and prevent corruption by allowing citizens to monitor government action and financial interests. Openness in decision-making improves policy effectiveness, encourages civic participation, and ensures officials work for the public interest rather than personal gain. Key reasons for transparency in elected officials include: Bullet 1, building public trust. Open communications about both successes and failures creates credibility and strengthens the relationship between officials and constituents. 2, preventing corruption and misconduct. Transparency helps expose malfeasance, conflicts of interest, and the influence of special interests, thereby safeguarding democracy. 3, ensuring accountability. When government actions such as voting records and financial disclosures are open to scrutiny, officials are held responsible for their decisions. Number 4, improving decision-making. Public access to information allows for better informed citizens, leading to more effective, participatory, and responsive governance. 5, verifying public trust. Transparency allows the public to verify that officials are acting in the best interest of the community rather than their own or wealthy donors' interests. Transparency acts as a crucial check on power, promoting a more efficient and effective government.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for doing that. So my motion is, as stated, I motion that we review, that Carl Vinson review and adopt this language and add it to the ethics section as appropriate in the draft charter.
Second. So moved by Mr. France and seconded by Mr. Powell. Any further discussion?
That would be an amendment. There is. Properly noticed. Right now, that's a portion, but is it in the? Yes. It's not in there yet. Is it in the draft? It's in the draft. So this motion is out of order. So the clerk of law is okay. So it has a main motion on the floor. There's not a main motion on the floor. Now, if you want to pull a section from the spot, so there has to be business on the table.
So, no, so.
So you understand, you have to pull
Let this slide, because I gotta figure this out, it's not sinking. You see, now here's the other thing, if there are motions on the floor and all it is pulling language, why aren't we dealing with the ethics piece, because that's all that is to it.
Not in the committee as a whole.
We never went into committee whole.
Okay, so his came after that. What I'm saying is, his motion.
But we never did make the motion to go committee whole.
His motion is essentially, he wants to amend something that's already in charge, or proposed language. So you have to pull his.
Not amending anything.
Yes, my point is, it's not an original.
No, but it's okay. I defer. All right. Dr. Robinson.
If you remember, when I initially started the ethics section back in September, I believe, it included the transparency language. And when it got wordsmithed by Carl Vinson and our attorney, it was removed for various reasons. So I do agree with our attorney that to make any adjustments to ethics is a request to amend, which would mean the motion is out of order since it was not properly noticed. So I don't have an issue with revisiting that because I agree the transparency language should be in there, but in following procedure, this would be noticed for us to do this at the next meeting. Thank you.
Mr. France, would you accept that?
With a comment first, Madam Chair, if I may. The reason I reemphasized this again this morning is because someone made the statement that we're not listening to the community. That's the reason I said review and adopt if appropriate. If it's already there, it may not be appropriate. But I'm acknowledging the fact that I heard what the citizens were saying. They had a copy of the charter and ethics rules as well. But the point is, it seems to be they're only words. We need to, if we're going to have transparency and accountability, it shouldn't just be words. It should be a rule that we live by. They brought it up at the town hall, and I'm here again expressing what the concerns of the citizens. That's the reason I said, if appropriate, put it in. Make the updates and the changes if appropriate. But I'm voicing the concerns of the citizens that, hey, we need to live by these things that we're voting on. If they're just going to be words on a piece of paper, then it has no effect. If it's just going to be words on a piece of paper, they have no effect. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Backus.
I wholeheartedly agree with the need for transparency, and I appreciate Mr. France bringing forth this motion. I think the concern is I don't know, I'm not as educated on the ethics document as Dr. Robinson is, so I don't know how much of this is covered, but I think my concern with this document is the lack of action items. So it is important to have transparency and like here, public access to information, but what does our government need to do to make that happen? And so the action item, I think, would be more appropriate to go into the charter than just a statement saying that they should. Does that make sense? I don't mean to offend at all, but I think what you wrote is important, and we need all of it. But I think that there needs to be an action item to go with it if it is not already covered in the ethics document or in the charter as a whole. So that would just be my input on it.
Thank you. Call Coach Bryant, please.
Madam Chair, I think through all the discussion today and really having no further business in front of us today, and all of this will be moved and properly noticed to the 19th, I would seek adjournment of this meeting so that we can, in fact, come together on the 19th and take care of the business of the people. And I think that's very, very important that we do that. And I think everything, these things on the 4A basically has been tabled, and those things on the 4 are really announcements. That is not new business. That is really announcements. And so, with it being announced now, and making sure the public has time to review it and give feedback if they like, and our members can review everything and give feedback, I think it's only appropriate at this time to adjourn our meeting today. And I would so move that if it's in order, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Gaines.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to say in reference to those comments, we've previously, when we put motions on the floor to announce them for the public or whatnot, we normally have some type of discussion, and then at the next meeting we end up voting on it. So I don't know if this is appropriate now, but just to kind of give some background in terms of the thought, because otherwise we end up doing that at the next scheduled meeting. That could potentially, we could use that time now to do that, but I don't know what the will of the body is in reference to this.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I
Point
have
of order.
not received a second.
Is there a second for the
And based on that discussion, so.
Dr. Robinson and was the second?
In that his motion was a motion to fix the time at which to adjourn, which is your highest ranking motion. It is in order.
What's that? All right, so.
He moved to fix the time to which to adjourn, meaning he made a motion to adjourn, but he also provided a date for which to come back. So it's a motion to fix the time to which to adjourn, because I heard him state March 19th. Is that correct?
Scheduled meeting.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, we still have some unfinished business on my motion that was second. We need to dispense of that motion that was actually second. We haven't completed that as of yet. We had a second on it, so.
Open motion and so forth. It's going to get pushed to the 19th.
But his motion was out of order.
So once you finish, his motion on the floor.
You're talking which one? Okay.
Madam Chair, point of order. Mr. France's motion was out of order, so we don't need to carry his motion.
And now my motion is up.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and properly seconded to adjourn. And Mr. France, your motion is going to move to the next meeting on first of the agenda. Is that not right, Tony? Frank?
It was for Carl Vincent Institute to review and include draft language. It was seconded by Mr. Powell.
But it's out of order to begin.
For the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Yes, it's always busy.
All right.
I've been told that, excuse me, Madam Chair. May
Go
I
ahead,
have the floor?
please, hon.
I've been told that my motion to adjourn is out of order, so I will rescind mine. I'll make it after the current motion is dealt with.
So we're getting circular advice, and we're not quite sure what we're doing. Would you like to rule on this, please? Because we've been told it's appropriate, it's not appropriate. Please advise. His was moved and seconded too, or all the hoo-ha was going on up here. So you can carry his motion. All right. Mr. France, can you please restate your motion, properly seconded?
Madam Chair, as I stated before in my motion was to have Carl Vinson to review/adopt transparency language for inclusion in the ethics section of the draft charter. I made the motion, and Mr. Lee Powell seconded.
All right. Once that adopted into the ethics ordinance. This is ChatGPT. How about you speak with Mr. France so he can understand this since this is his motion?
So I'm asking Carl Vinson to review section of. No, not to change. Okay. I thought it was clear. Okay. Thank you.
Before we go to votes, we've got Mr. Fouché.
So, Mr. France, this is lacking action, and that's my only concern. There's no action in this motion whatsoever. It's a wonderful speech. And I think some of this may be covered in the current ethics language, so there's probably going to be some redundancy here. Would you modify your motion that redundancy can be deleted from the document if that current language is contained anywhere within section 5.1?
Madam Chair, may I respond one more time? I thought I said it, but maybe my southern drawl or something doesn't work that well. My motion was I've already. Let me just hold it up for everyone. I have the ethics, transparency, and accountability language. I know it's already part of the draft charter. Again, my purpose today was to reiterate what the citizen concerns are. And my document that I produced, I compared it to the one that's already in the draft. Some of my language and some of my verbiage it differs from that. So when I say in my motion, review/adopt, the language that I'm presenting to the language that's already there. If it's any language that I have on my document that's already there, then of course do not duplicate. Do not duplicate or remove it. Just add whatever language I'm presenting that's not already captured in the document to the document. So if I presented the motion incorrectly, I apologize, but I'm just trying to get my point across and just to update the document. Okay?
Is that with the intention of bringing it back for final adoption on March 19th?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Ms. Backus, thank you.
I actually had jumped in the queue when I thought that business was complete. So if we can yield to Dr. Robinson, and then I have an item for new business after that.
Okay, that's fine. Dr. Robinson?
Since the ethics section is already up for discussion, I'd like to, and please let me know if I'm out of order in what I'm suggesting. I would like to make a substitute motion that the Carl Vinson Institute look over both the motion where we're removing some of the language previous, as well as the additional transparency language being offered by Mr. France to provide us with one singular document that addresses both issues, so that we can have that information available for vote on March 19th.
Is there a second? Backus?
I'm still waiting on new business. I just want to make sure you didn't adjourn before it was heard. That's all.
So there is a motion from Dr. Robinson to combine both the piece of a substitute motion capturing the language that was recommended by Carl Vinson to remove because it was duplicative of state law, to be combined, and also to address the transparency piece from Mr. France.
That is correct.
Again, to not have any duplicity. Is everybody understanding what we're voting in? If so, let's go ahead and cast our votes, unless you had something else you needed to say.
No, it's cool.
All right, let's cast our votes.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You can announce that because that's technically what chairs do. You can do that. Secretary Robinson and Mr. Fouché. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Ms. Backus, Madam Chair, can I do a roll call because I'm finding that may be more. Ms. Backus?
Yes.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes.
Mr. France?
I'm sorry.
Roll call vote, sir, on your motion.
I thought I did, but I guess, let me do it again.
No, roll call. We're doing an audible roll call. Yeah, this is quite a, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Fouché? Yes. Mr. Gaines?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer? Yes. Mr. Pearson? Mr. Powell? Yes. Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilhelmy?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Now, I believe before we go to an adjournment, the motion to adjourn, Ms. Backus, you had something you wanted to address.
Yes, ma'am. It's a two-part thing. First, if we can have some clarification from the parliamentarian on limiting comment, that is only during debate. And I understand what the chair was saying, that you go and to people who have not spoken, but does that not renew with each subject?
You are correct. In debate, each member is limited to speaking on a motion twice and for 10 minutes each. Now, I don't think that's expressly stated in your rules of procedure, but that is standard Robert's Rules of Order. Now, in that this is a small committee, you can liberally speak. I mean, it's the chair that presides over this, but you also want to make sure that it's balanced. Your discussion is balanced, one side over the other, or those for and against. But to answer your question in the short, you are correct in your understanding with regard to parliamentary procedure, okay?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because when I jump in the queue, I keep being skipped. So I just wanted to make sure I was correct in my understanding. As far as the new business that I wanted to address, I did send out this email to all of our committee members. It is from Dr. Nelson, Kimberly Nelson, who appeared.
Please stick to the topic here now. Are we going in? That is on the agenda that you said had to be noticed and carried forward in 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am, but you also told me that we had to vote on if she comes by Zoom. So I'm trying to explain to the community what I'm talking about. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. We don't want to go down there, but I would rather you take the, we'll have the ability to decide that, but I think you're going to want to hear from the consultants on that before we go there.
But, Madam Chair, you told me in order to invite Dr. Nelson that this committee would have to vote on that. And
That'd be
part of
fine
the
if you want
issue.
to. If you want to make a motion, I'm sorry if that's what you're doing. I'm just trying to draw this meeting to an end because it's, go ahead.
So Dr. Nelson previously joined us via Zoom. She is from USC Chapel Hill, and she has studied over 2,000 municipalities. I did request that a copy of her email response to my question regarding the selection of candidates for internal auditor, general counsel, city manager, and clerk of commission. I asked her what she felt best practice was. She did send me back the email, but I did want to open it up. First of all, I want to ask if this can be posted online under documents, so that if any member of the public wants to view what Dr. Nelson's information was or her opinion, that they have access to that. And what I would like to do is ask this committee, if you feel based upon, because I did send this document to all of you, if you have any additional questions for her, since I had the opportunity when I spoke to her to ask any questions I have, I wanted to make sure that you all had the same opportunity. So is asking her to join us for a brief Zoom call during our next meeting something that you all need to have in order to ask any questions that you may have?
The chair is going to ask Carl Vinson to please render their opinion on this topic.
I'm not.
From Dr. Facer.
But I don't have an opinion on whether or not Dr. Nelson you should come. I mean,
No, not, more so her conclusions.
I don't think it's appropriate at this time.
I would like to hear it myself. Does anybody else want to hear what Dr. Facer has to allow about this?
Yes.
Point of order, we're not discussing the actual topic.
I had asked them to speak on this before the meeting began today, actually.
It's not on the agenda.
Decorum.
As a point of order, I'm allowed to speak out loud, out of turn, if it's a point of order, if I'm correct, parliamentarian?
Okay, we're going to decline to hear from Carl Vinson right now. All right.
So you all take care of it here. She's just asking for the we can.
Madam Chair.
Does she have more?
I'd like to make a motion to invite Dr. Kimberly Nelson via Zoom to speak with us during our next meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's go to Coach.
Well, I will speak against the motion based on the fact that Dr. Nelson did come to us previously, several meetings before, as an invite by the Carl Vinson Institute, as they were informing us about form of government and she is an expert in that area. And I think we voted unanimously to go with her recommendations for a county manager. And we did vote, and that has been placed in our draft charter. I feel at this time to go and to redo that is not what's in the best interest of the people. So again, I think when committee members are going and discussing business with outside groups, it presents a problem for the committee. I would hate that all 11 of us would find it necessary to go and to somehow contact people and bring this up again when it's already been voted on unanimously. In all due respect, I think we as a committee have decided what we were given by recognizing what was done is the thing to go. And also, I don't think Ms. Nelson is, she's not a lawyer in the state of Georgia. She is someone at a North Carolina, University of North Carolina Institute. So I would just be very careful about going down this road. I think the committee has spoken, and I think the community has spoken that under the form of government, that we have basically gotten that right. And so I would just like to maintain where we currently are as we go to vote.
Thank you, Coach. Dr. Robinson.
The discussion from the person, her name is escaping me at this moment. I'm old. Dr. Nelson, yes. Wasn't about our form of government. It was about how certain positions are chosen. As we voted on these different sections, and a lot of that, we gave the mayor the power to essentially choose those folks. When we're doing things in silos, it sometimes is hard to see the impact of the overall intent of what has happened. When we have the entire document in front of you, and you review that and say, okay, wait, we have aligned a lot of power to this one position. And having an expert who we voted unanimously to agree with once before to come discuss with us again, I don't see why that is a problem. If what the information she provided us before was profound and great, I'm not understanding why some additional clarity isn't necessary here, because we did these sections separately. And now that we have a complete document, we have to look at the overall impact of the complete document. Not each section, but the complete document. Because once we send this thing off, we're not the ones involved in the day-to-day. We may be constituents impacted by it, but if our intent is to build this government in a way that allows our government to better do its job, I'm not understanding why we won't talk to professionals who do this for a living.
Mr. Gaines.
Madam Chair, I was just going to say, Ms. Backus put a motion out on the floor and I second it. And is it appropriate for us to go ahead and vote on this now?
We can do that.
Not when there's people in the queue.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
All right, District 8 is Mr. France.
Madam Chair, yeah, again, I just want to say that basically what I'm hearing here is, I heard Dr. Nelson as well from the great state of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and she talked about the thing that impressed me the most was the part about the poverty rate when they went from a consolidated government to a city manager. The poverty rate actually went down by 36%, which was really encouraging to me because I looked at the city of Augusta and our youth and the poverty here. Don't you know out there at Fennessy Road, there are over 1,300 youth and children that's out there from the age of 14 to 30. Out of those 1,300, over 1,000 of those are African Americans. So we have issues here in Augusta, Richmond County. Now, I said that to say this. I've put forth motions, several motions that got shot down. I understand democracy works. So if everyone wants to go back now at this juncture and relitigate a motion that may have gotten voted not necessarily in your favor, we could all be here until doomsday trying to get this charter completed. No, this is what it seems like I'm hearing. We voted based on the previous briefing by Dr. Nelson. Now you're saying you want to go back again and have her come back again and brief us again on some other information that you think we have not received? That's the question. What's the purpose of having her come back? Is she going to brief something differently than she's already briefed?
Yes, it's different.
Ms. Backus?
Just to clarify, it is different. Before she did discuss the form of government, what I was not aware of and I voted for that. I agree with the city manager. I'm not debating that. It's how do we choose the candidates? Because when that question was put forth to us, I was not informed at that point that, as Dr. Nelson says, by allowing the mayor, who is now part of the commission, to select candidates and also vote on that candidate, it creates a hybrid form of government. I didn't sign up for a hybrid form of government. What I voted for was a city council manager form of government. But that vote right there that came afterwards, not on city manager, but on the selection of city manager, general counsel, and all those other positions, it alters the form of government. And so I can't explain that better than Dr. Nelson, who specializes in this. So she didn't discuss that with us the first time she joined us on Zoom. And so that's why she was able to answer all of my questions. I wanted to afford all of you the same opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. France?
Yes, Madam Chair, I think we do. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Could I call for a vote, please?
Everyone can.
Well, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a motion to call. That's a call for the question. It needs a second. And okay.
Okay.
And reminded.
So for call for the question, it was Mr. France and Mr. Powell.
And the vote is simply to end debate, and then you vote on the motion itself.
So 2 votes.
So we ended the debate, we're going to the vote.
Right now, you're voting on ending debate. That's what you're voting.
Cast your votes, please. Certainly. Absolutely. Thank you for the suggestion. We're voting on ending debate.
Okay. Ms. Backus?
Yes.
Mr. Bryant? Yes. Mr. France? Yes. Mr. Fouché? Yes. Mr. Gaines?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson? Yes. Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilhelmy?
Yes.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. Now we're going to vote on the motion made by Ms. Backus and seconded by Mr. Gaines to invite Dr. Nelson to a Zoom call on March 19th. Is that correct, Ms. Backus?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that would be separate, wouldn't it? I don't know that we need to.
Not even necessary. I'll take care of it this afternoon, but thank you. Let's vote on the motion at hand.
Ms. Backus?
Yes.
Mr. Bryant?
No.
Mr. France? No. Mr. Fouché? No. Mr. Gaines?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
No.
Mr. Powell?
No.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilhelmy?
No.
That motion fails 5-6.
I'll make a motion. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. We're waiting on the vote. Okay.
Ms. Bonner, you've already taken care of that part, I believe, right?
But announcing the results?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
you have, all right. Okay.
It
So
failed.
Coach, you were up.
For the motion. I would like to make a motion, Madam Chair, at this time that we adjourn.
Second.
By acclamation? Leader saying. To
Thank
the
you.
public, I brought a whole bunch of stuff for people, like food here. It's all right here. Crackers, nuts, fruit. I was worried about everybody's blood sugar getting low. You do me a kindness and you would